This is Under the Classic Rock. Today we're bringing back Focus. Playing in bands pretty much all my life, there have been a few episodes that stick out in my mind. One of them was in 1972, coming from my high school days. It was a lunchtime discussion in the cafeteria amongst all the top rock musicians at Parsippany Hills High School in New Jersey. The topic was who was the best rock guitarist. Now, this is very subjective to whatever clique you might have been in high school, but this discussion took into consideration guitarists like Steve Howe of Yes, Terry Kath of Chicago, Jimmy Page, Jimi Hendrix, and there was a new band's guitarist that was sticking out in all of those 1972 discussions. It was Jan Akkerman of Focus. Okay, that's enough. We don't want to blow the whole show on a guitar lick. Focus came out of the Netherlands in 1971. The band was originally the pit orchestra for the Dutch version of the Broadway show Hair. The band centered around Thijs van Leer on keyboards, flute, and vocals, and Jan Akkerman on guitar.
I dream about the future.
The two worked together in the Hair Show Orchestra while organizing and rehearsing a club act they were calling Focus. They did manage to record the first Focus album called Focus Plays Focus, which was renamed after they became famous to In and Out of Focus. It was a minor success in Norway and in the UK. At this early time, fans were branding them as a Jethro Tull sound-alike band. Soon after the original Focus band was organized, guitarist Jan Akkerman left the pit band and Focus to form his own band with drummer Pierre van der Linden, and then set their sights on a jazz fusion sound. After a while, Thijs van Leer heard Ackerman's new band and got himself invited back. You keeping up with this okay? Good. Soon, Ackerman's new band was renamed Focus, and they found they needed a better bass player and then recruited Norway's top bass player, Cyril Havermans. With the new member, they headed back into the studio to record Focus 2, and this is the album that gave them the international traction that they needed. The heavily edited version of Hocus Pocus reached the top 10 in record markets all around the world. The album Focus 2, or Moving Waves, became critically acclaimed with the progressive rock genre. The new FM radio format picked it up and was wearing out the grooves in the vinyl. DJs were putting Focus on the same level as Emerson, Lake and Palmer, Yes, and King Crimson.
Don't give me that, you snotty-faced heap of parrot-dropping!
Now, every band is like a dysfunctional family. Fights and arguments rule the day with such strong egos. Well, soon chaos broke out in Focus, and bass player Cyril Havermans left before the first worldwide tour. He was replaced by Bert Router. The next album in 1972 was Focus 3. It was a double album that FM radio again wore out the grooves, and it produced a mild hit with Syliva. In 1973, after 2 straight years of touring, the band tried to put down tracks for a 4th studio album, but none of it was worth listening to. They were just too burned out from the road. They released a live album instead called The Rainbow Room. Then, in late 1973, Van Leer and Ackerman wanted to make a change to a more pop sound, and they let go Pierre van der Linden because he was too jazzy, they said. And then they went after Mitch Mitchell from Jimi Hendrix's band. He refused. Then they went after top studio drummer Ainsley Dunbar, who also refused. They finally settled on ex-Stone the Crow's drummer Colin Allen. This version of the band went on to cut Hemberger Concerto. In 1974, critics and fans loved the album. Then in 1975, the Dysfunctional family reared its ugly head again. During the recording of Mother Focus in 1975, drummer Colin Allen left, and the Focus finally ran out of the band. In 1976, longtime Focus producer Mike Vernon edited together an album called Ship of Memories, which was just a slew of old studio cuts that the band didn't really want to put out, and they hardly had anything to do with putting out the album. Also in 1976, Van Leer fired guitarist Ackerman over the direction of the band. Ackerman wanted the more jazz fusion mix, while Van Leer wanted to make it a more pop sound. From 1977 to this day, Van Leer reunites Focus, made up of different members. Steve Smith from Journey actually did some playing with them in 1978. In 2014, Focus came out with their 11th studio album, which was a re-recording of their older hits called Golden Oldies. Some true and false before we lose our focus here. True, in 1973, Jan Akkerman was voted the best guitarist in the world by the readers of Melody Maker magazine. And there was only one Hocus Pocus. False. There was a Hocus Pocus 2, very rare record. It was only released in Europe. The band's live version of the song, which can be heard on the Rainbow Room album, is a mixture of the two studio versions. You can help support the show by going to my website at billhemberger.com. Thanks a lot for listening and downloading Under the Classic Rock.